Thank you. Thank you, Hatim. May I take this opportunity to both thank you, Hatim, and congratulate you for the tremendous role you are playing and the great job you are doing in these projects. You and your team, the feedback received so far has been hugely positive, due in no small part to your efforts, and your role is crucial one to ensuring the success of this event, and your energy, professionalism, and ability to keep time playing as an enormous part in this project. Now mean feats and something which was hugely appreciated. So, as you present me, my name is Ouadrassi Abderrahim. I am the president for of the Euro-Africa Foundation. Euro-Africa Foundation is a non-governmental organization that promotes the relationship among Africa and the European countries on equal opportunities. Euro-Africa is not a trade association. We promote human interactions on entrepreneurial and research and social and cultural levels. Also in aspects like the environment, we are working a lot on that, with the core objectives to know each other and foster collaborations and joint projects. Due to the huge number of the countries in each continent, yearly we try to limit our working plan to a certain numbers of them. So this year, our plan is working with Mali, Ethiopia, Ivory Coast, Nigeria, Morocco, and South Africa for parts of Africa. And from Europe, we are working with the Czech Republic, the Netherlands, France, and of course Spain, because we are based in Spain, Germany, and Poland. After this short presentation, I will go straight to the points. So this workshop will be structured in 3 parts, and finally we will hold the conclusions in the last parts. So it should be participative. I will be looking all the time to the chat if you have any questions, and if you need to talk, you can answer or answer after each block. You can start answering. We will talk about the defeats for Africa, the lessons from the COVID, and the response of Europe and Africa to this crisis. So, straight to the first block, defeat for Africa. The African continent is the home to the world's youngest population. 60% of Africans are under 35. So last year, the Africa-Europe Partnership for Sustainable Investments and Employment set by the European Union and the African governments is working to provide the resources needed for education and training to strengthen the business environment and the private sector by improving investment conditions. Similarly, over the next 10 years, the Africa Youth Job Initiative is designed to establish professional skills in 50 million young people and create 25 millions of jobs. So with employment in the Zoom, what are the defeats or other defeats for this continent? And I leave the floor open and the mic open for you and for the chat also.
Yes, please, guys, be sure to really participate, because as we have discussed during the scholarship, you will be asked to to have also an open, wide range of the questions, Karen. So please feel free to really interact, and yes, it's participatory discussion. We have already Alventico per said, how can young people drive the development in developing more opportunities for themselves? Yeah. So Abderrahim, you discussed
Is
about, yeah.
yes. How we will control this? I have to give the mic, or is it's open
No,
for everyone?
no, it's really open. If they want
Ah,
to
okay. Ah, okay. Ah, okay.
the microphone, they can just raise their hand and you can call upon their names. Like Osam, for instance, Maurice, he has raised his hand, and Castrol. So Osam, feel free to open your microphone and yeah, and please answer the question of Mr. Abderrahim.
Hello?
Yes, Osam, we can hear you.
Yeah, he was. Are you getting me?
Yes, yes, we
Yes.
can.
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, I understood his questions, but one of the things that I would like to put forward is that we in Africa, we have a lot of challenges that technology is not upgradable up to the down part of the continent. So to me, that might be a great challenge to a lot of us who will access this scholarship that he's talking about. What strategy do, mine is just a question, what strategy do you have to maybe make sure that Africa is connected in terms of maybe 5G or fiber optics to make this scholarship accessible? Like what he's saying, he was talking of like Zoom uh, uh, trainings and so forth. Because now we have seen like actually this session that we are on, like yesterday I've seen the MCU part. There are a lot of difficulties that they are facing in terms of the network or the internet in general. Thank you.
Osama,
Yes.
I didn't hear
Yeah.
well the question. I'm not sure, but are you talking about investigation or?
Maybe
Uh,
Abderrahim, you can repeat the question you have asked the participants,
Yeah.
so therefore they can make their
See,
intervention into the question.
no,
Yeah.
it's very simple. Apart from the employment, what are the defeats for the continent after the crisis?
Okay.
It could be
So the question is,
sustainability, it could be economic, of
yeah,
course, and
yeah.
yeah.
education defeats.
So I think Osam, he raised the issue about the infrastructure development, especially that during COVID-19 we tend to use a lot of social media and network, and many African countries are not connected. So he said that will be maybe the most challenge for African countries.
Yeah, of course, I agree with him, of course. And we
We
had
have, of
another.
course, Castro.
Yes,
Cas-
good afternoon. Good afternoon. Yes, thank you for tremendous presentation from Mr. Aline, I believe from Ethiopia, Mr. Paul, and yourself, Mr. Fatima. I don't know if I'm presenting your name correctly. Coming back to Mr. Ouadrassi, I think he mentioned of something to do with the organization. They are on catering some countries. I would like to find out when are they like to cater most of countries. For instance, myself, I'm from Zambia, and I would like to find out when they are going to cater countries like Zambia, Southern African countries. I think most of countries he mentioned, I guess, are from West Africa and North Africa. When are they like to expand to most of African countries as a whole? That is for Mr. Ouadrassi, for Mr. Yeah,
Yeah,
Ouadrassi.
thank you so much. I think if I am not wrong, you are talking about expansion of countries inside Africa. It's that's the question, and
Yeah,
collaboration, no?
yes, correct, exactly.
Yeah, I think that it is very important. The before talking about the collaboration with other countries outside Africa, I think Africa needs his needs the resources, the knowledge, know-how, and all the opportunities that has the continent. So I think this is the first step. And thank you for mentioning this, because I think the collaboration between countries inside the continent is very, very, very important in this moment. Solidarity is very, very important in this moment. Before asking solidarity from the world, we have to ask solidarity between our countries. And I hope that one day we'll, maybe it is very, it will be very hopeful, but I hope that one day we will no frontiers. I hope that we can get what Europe did for the last years. You know that the European Union is a very solid project and helped a lot the South countries, the countries that are in the South in Europe, like Portugal, Spain, Greece, Italy. And so when there's a union, when there is a collaboration, when there is a solidarity between countries, it will be it will give will have a powerful continent. So I agree with you, and I think that we have to stop thinking and talking about South and East and West, and about frontiers, and about Anglophone and Francophone, and think about with African mind, like an African, and think about opening the frontiers and collaborating with each other. And thank you so much for this question.
Yeah, thank you so much, because we are really anticipating and longing for a united Africa, because Agenda 2063 is not something that will be very easy. I think probably, as I think in some of the sessions, the population of Africa was estimated to be somewhere 2.4 billion in the next by 2050, and that is a clear indication that even our economy must maybe add $1 trillion to the African economy. It will be extremely impressive if we can push our continent to be on the global map and exert influence on the global market through trade and all forms of technological innovation. Thank you for it.
Thank you. And as you said, and it is high moment to think about that seriously. Yes, we have this objective for a long term, but I think with this crisis, and it's not the unique crisis, the health crisis, also the economic crisis, we have to think about this seriously, and not think about this objective as a long term, but as a short term, because it's necessary. It's necessary for all of us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So I think I can see if there's no other question, I can pass to the second block. It's
Yes,
about.
please, Abdulrahman.
Thank you,
Absolutely.
Hassan. Thank you, Hassan. So the health pandemic has serious socio-economic consequences. What COVID shows us is that the state has a critical role to play. It was the state, not the private sector, to which citizens looked to and which rose to the occasion when the pandemic struck. As COVID-19 swept across the globe, one thing became clear. A well-functioning, well-restructured, agile, and resilient health system can mean the difference between life and death. Africa, with his history, with his structure and good resistance, is a continent who suffered the hardest pandemics. In this case, the economic costs of a health pandemic and where this cost were very high, and the perception was often worse than the illness, as Africa's poor found themselves without work, without food, and even access to health care, as economics were locked down across the continent in a bid to contain the virus. The World Bank predicts that the pandemic fueled depression could lead to as much as 3.3% jobs growth this year, pushing the region into its first recession in 25 years. Because we were coming with for the last year, the region was increasing his growth. So, arriving to this point, what are the lessons thrown from the COVID? And I open the mic for all of you. If you want, I can write this also in the chat. If you need to hear the question or to see the question, I will write it in the chat also.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Abderrahim. Well, indeed, the COVID-19 has put a pressure on our continent, especially we have a vulnerable economies. So here the floor is yours, guys, on what do you think the lessons learned for this COVID-19. Maybe you have seen your country focusing more on one side or one component than the other. Maybe your countries were focusing on maybe on education, then the neglected health, which, for instance, we needed more than ever, the health sector in during the COVID pandemic. Yes, he Arnaud, Denis, Stéphane, you might open your microphone. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much. Are you hearing me?
Yes, we
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. And I thank all the speakers of today. They were they was very excellent concerning this issue, this problem, questions about COVID-19. I think that the first thing that I remarked is that the people here in my country, because I'm in Cote d'Ivoire, the first thing that we remarked when there were the big problem of crisis, we remarked that the people who are rich, they went into the shop, they started buying provisions, and they took all the drugs, all the medicine, that because they were the people who has money. And the other thing that we saw is that the NGO, the organization of non-governmental, they work to assist the people, and even me, managing an NGO. We try to provide some goods, foods, and assistance to more than 45 families who were in need. But the major thing that I wanted to say is that there were no, all over the country, there were no very assistance, because people lose their jobs, and there were no another thing to do, and everything was very hard. But coming to the end of the crisis, things going to be things are going well. But what I just had to say to end my speech is that this crisis was not good at all, because even me, I lose my job. So from that period to today, I'm jobless due to the crisis. So this crisis bring very, very bad news here for we youth of Cote d'Ivoire. But we are also hoping that Africa countries will open in Africa some opportunities which will be open from a country to another country, so that we can share maybe opportunities to move from your country, maybe to go to another, to find a job possibility for more youth inclusions and more collaboration between our different African countries. Because me, I'm not dreaming going maybe to Europe, or I want to be in Africa. But even I don't see maybe an opportunity in my country, but I want to find an opportunity in another African country. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, dear Arnaud. We will take Aisha, but please, guys, if you can just keep your intervention brief to 1 minute, that will be really good, so we can give the microphone to many people. Aisha, please activate your microphone. If you can activate your microphone, Aisha, it's still muted.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Yeah, everyone. Hello, everyone. Nice to be here. Been learning so many things, but one of the things I observed during this COVID-19 is, please, we all Africans, we need to have one continent. We need to produce our own items, because one of the things that most affected us was the prices of food. You know, the COVID-19 was a lockdown for everyone, and we were in the house. Getting access to food was so difficult. And most of this food are being imported. They are being imported. So we should focus more on our agriculture, our own products. So that in case of any, I'm not praying for any pandemic, but in case of any pandemic, we don't have to worry. We don't have to wait for the European countries to send aid before we get access to food. Because some people, the COVID-19 did not affect them, but seriously, a lot of people died of hunger. Thank you very much.
Thank you, dear Aisha. I will go to Abdul Maiga.
Okay, good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Abdul.
Do you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
So, as a medical student, I am in the workforce of health domain. And in terms of lessons, I can say that first thing we have learned as lesson that we have in Africa weak health systems across Africa, and we saw this in COVID-19 period. We don't have the necessary health workers. We don't have sufficient infrastructures, and we are too much dependent from the international community. And as we have seen this again, the World Health Organization has predicted millions of deaths in Africa. That seems that some NGOs, international NGOs, wanted to take the COVID-19 crisis as a business matter because they predicted millions and millions of deaths in Africa. And they begin to, to ask for help for Africans because our health systems are very weak. We don't have the means, we are poor, we are this and are that. So this should give us a lesson that we should search our own, means, develop health system, to develop research, important to prevent any kind of problem in our context. That I would like to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Abdul. It's very good to see, people who are at the front line of this pandemic. What are their thoughts? Thank you so much, dear Abdul. Maybe we can take two, Abderrahim, and then we will move to the next block. We'll go to Priscille. Priscille, please activate your microphone so we can so we can hear you.
Hello.
Yes, hello, Priscille. Please go ahead.
Okay. I'm from DRC, and I'm going to talk about what I've noticed in my country. The thing that's very hurt me, it was about universities. When the president said that university should close, I've noticed that many universities were uh, unable to keep on with studies online because in many universities there are many students, and the system of teaching online is not really developed, and some professors are still teaching in a old method, and this problem affects really university, so that students were unable to keep on with studies. Instead of other countries, we saw that students were working at home, but in my country it was very difficult to keep on with studies in university. Yes, that's what I've noticed.
Thank you so much. So I think that the lesson that we learned is that the universities or the educational system need to have in its system, the capacity to switch between digital and physical lessons, because this COVID-19 has pushed us, to rely more on online tool. But of course, here comes the question of infrastructure. Abderrahim, I will give you the floor so you can continue, and then please keep your hand risen so we can take more questions.
Yeah, thank you, Hatim. I saw it is questions were the answers were very very interesting, because Henry talks about mobility and to work for Africa. Abdul about research, Aisha about the food access, and Priscilla, the last one was talking about education, is very very important for Africa and for the young people. And I saw a question in the chat. It was a Paul's question, and he asked, how can young people drive the development in developing more opportunities for themselves? I think this question will be this answer will be related with the preceding about it will be with education. I think education is the key for helping for the development. So I think in this point I don't know if there's more questions. No, so we can go to the third part, and it is about what's happened in Europe. So to slow the spread of COVID-19, European governments have adopted stringent containment measures. These have led to severe recessions, and policymakers in the European countries are providing generous support to help companies cope with the immediate consequences. The basic approach has been to provide generous and indiscriminate emergency support to help cash-strapped firms and to meet their immediate liquidity needs, and to help them open again after the crisis. But as the lockdown measures continue and the recession gets deeper, a more comprehensive strategy for the future needs to be designed. Getting to this point, for Africa and Europe, are they facing the same consequences of this pandemic as far as you're concerned? And I open the floor for you. I will write it also in the chat so you can read this, the question, and for also to animate the chat.
So Abderrahim, do you want to take some questions? So
no, it was sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, so the question, guys, you should take also into consideration to answer is, since you know that Europe also has been hit by the COVID-19, also Africa as well. So do you think that Africa and Europe are facing the same consequences of the pandemic, or do you think that there is, some differences between the consequences of the pandemic that Europe is struggling about, but at the same time, Africa? So Osam, if you can open your microphone so we can hear your thoughts about this, or we can move to Tata Evans. Tata Evans, please activate your microphone. Marwa, she said no.
Hello.
Yes, hello. Hi.
Okay. Yeah, for me, I think the consequences of the pandemic is the same in Africa as in Europe, because people are dying of it. So people are dying in Europe as well as people are dying in Africa, and the problem now comes in the aspect of the age group, because that's why you discover that the pandemic has not affected us in Africa as much as it has affected the West, because we the Africans, we are made of the young people, and our immune systems are still strong enough to resist the virus, whereas over there at the West, they have registered a very high amount of deaths because their population is made of the old, and given the weak immune system they have, they cannot resist the virus. So I believe the consequences are the same, because we are losing people as well as they are losing people. Yeah, that's my take on that.
Thank you so much. So we can move to Angelica. Angelica.
Yeah, hi.
Yes, hi.
Okay, so I think that health-wise, of course, like the consequences of the pandemic are the same. However, when it comes to like social and economic consequences, like it's very different, because in Europe and other parts of the world, you can see that they have their systems are very structured, such that they, with even with the transportation and everything, they're able to place certain restrictions on it to allow people to keep moving and going to their jobs if they can, while however staying safe and like keeping maintaining social distance and everything, washing their hands, wearing face mask and everything. But in Africa, you have to realize that the transportation systems are different. For example, like the buses are almost always full, and a lot of people come and go at all times of the day. So you realize that even with the restrictions that are put in place, there is still very little that has improved, because for example, if the buses are not big enough and the the drivers need to make money, they can't just say they'll just pick 6 people just because of the pandemic, because at the end of the day, they're also being affected by it and they need to make money to eat. So you realize that even though everyone is trying to figure out how to work it out, the consequences might be the same, but they are different because of the social and economic differences. So you realize that even as we all go through it, some of us are going to come out unscathed, and some of us are going to come out with like so many issues, and it's going to expose how badly our systems are structured and how we need to correct them. But then again, you also have to consider whether these systems are going to be corrected or not, like as the pandemic is going on and even after it's done. So yeah, the consequences are very different.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Angelica. We will take the last intervention maybe from Manana. Manana, could you please activate your microphone?
Yes, thank you so much. I also think that the consequences are not the same. I am saying this because Africa and Europe are at different stages when it comes to development. Most of the people in European Union, in the European side of the world, they do not even live beyond the poverty line. But when you come to Africa, a lot of people, they are just primary producers, like they're in the domestic market. So those people have been greatly impacted, such that poverty has gone up in Africa. And also we have had issues like gender-based violence, which we have seen that it really skyrocketed during this pandemic. So I guess the pandemic, it further intensified the weakness of our institutions as Africa as a whole, because when you look at the aspect of human rights have been vastly violated during this pandemic. Like when we look at the abuses that have been going on, I will quote examples from my country, from my region, Southern Africa. Most people have been violated and brutalized by police, like while trying to sell, because most of them, they're just like market women, market men, and those people, they have been violated. And unfortunately, there isn't much accountability. So it really has exposed our weak institutions. And I think that Africa really has to come up with viable frameworks to strengthen, especially the area of human rights and other institutions to further improve food security. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Manana. You have raised many important issues regarding especially human rights and food security. And I think it's very also important for African countries to rely on smart agriculture as well, especially during this pandemic. Mr. Abderrahim, do you want to take some more questions, or we can move to the next block and then we can take, because we have a lot of people who have raised their hand.
Yeah, and I see that the chat is very, very hot. I think that's this question was very. There is participants that they think that we have facing the same consequences in Europe and Africa, and others they don't think so. But for the last intervention, it was I think Lonfobeco.
Yeah, Manana.
Yeah, Manana. That's I think she talked about something very important, which is the human rights and for her that was the difference. That in Africa the didn't respect the human rights. But I inform you that in Europe, for the first time in the in the last 60, 70 years. For the first time, the personal rights and the human rights were questioned in Europe, and many countries and many citizens were not agree with the restrictions, and were asked to make reforms in the constitution of their countries. I'm talking about France. I'm talking about Spain. I'm talking about the northern countries also. So the human rights is questioned not only in Africa, it's also in Europe. And I think in the next years we will be facing many reforms in the legal aspects. So I think I think I have only 6 minutes, but I will try to make a global conclusion and talk what we were talking. We talked about the collaboration between countries, the restructuring of the system, education, human rights and reform of the institutions, the food security, mobility, agricultural access. I think those are the issues that are very important for Africa, but also for Europe. I think we are facing the same problems at the end. And I think there's one thing that's very important for this. If you want to come out from this crisis successfully, I think we have to take the sustainability door. I think sustainability is very important after this crisis, and continuing unsustainable behavior could cause further crisis of a similar debilitating scale. And to frame the current lockdown and standstill as timely occasion to change the direction and prevent a future crisis. I think that the current COVID-19 crisis can provide a window of an opportunity for promoting sustainability transition across the globe. But this goal can only be achieved with deliberate planning and a carefully designed strategic communication in the public and private sphere. And my final words will be that we will not defeat COVID-19 without Africa in the global response. Africa can't be muted in the global conversation, and its leadership must play a role not only in identifying the problem, but also in seeking the solution. And thank you.
Thank you so much, Abderrahim. Don't worry, it's not COVID-19. I just have an allergy. So yeah, we can take Aisha. Aisha, you can activate your microphone.
Yeah. Hello, thank you for another opportunity. One of the things I know we face this COVID-19, that okay, when it comes to the pandemic itself, the sickness, the death, Europe, Africa, we're equal. But when it comes to government, in terms of the people, creating rooms for people, that is where Africa got it wrong. For example, here in Nigeria, we got a lot of donors. We have the most richest African, which is Dangote, which banks dropped donation. If you look at the NSAS at the end of the day, a lot of palliative were found. The things that were donated to make life suitable, more comfortable a bit for people, government held those things. We heard in Europe, some countries, they gave their citizens money to cope. But here in Africa, it wasn't done. In Africa, if things are being donated, everybody, government decided that, foreign, they give the Nigerian government or African government $1,000 for each citizens. I bet you, at the end of the day, each citizens might end up having probably $200. There was support from all angles. But the citizens did not enjoy that support, which I feel bad government in Africa affected more, like affected the African system more. So we really need to look at that. The pandemic, fine, we had a lot of people died in Europe more than Africa because we Africa, okay, we stood, and the technology system here was really even bad. Even till date, if you tell some people in Africa that there was COVID-19, they will tell you it's a lie. Yes, they still don't believe there was COVID-19 because of what? Government. They will tell you governments are lying. They don't take government serious because governments have never taken their citizens serious. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank you
Hatim,
so much, Aisha. Yeah.
can I answer, Aisha?
Sure. Sure, Abderrahim, go ahead.
Okay, thank Aisha, I will give you only two sentences. One, it's an old proverb. When you were talking, I remember it, and I think can serve to answer your doubt. And it say, give a man a fish, and you feed him for what day. Teach a man to fish, and you feed him for a lifetime. I mean, and I'll give you the other one is from George Fitzgerald Kennedy, who said that don't wait for what the country can do for you, but think about what you can do for your country. And I will ask you, I will beg you that think what you can do for Africa, not only what the government can do for us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Abderrahim. It's true that we think that, we think that government should do a lot of things, but also it's our duty as well to do also some things in return, even it's small things, but at least it can contribute to many things. Because imagine if I am doing a small thing, my neighbors do a small thing, all the communities are doing the small thing, my city is doing a small thing, then these small things will become a bigger thing, okay? So yeah, thank you so much, Abderrahim, that's totally true. I will go to Jawahir. Jawahir, do you hear me, Jawahir?
Yes, I hear you, Hatem.
Go ahead.
Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing well. So I think it's not the same as Europe has faced COVID-19. First of all, let's talk about what's the main problem of COVID-19, which is climate change. So we're going to have more pandemics for the future, as a research that I have done. So with my professor, I'm a biotechnologist student. So we study a lot about pandemics and what is the solution that we're going to have. So climate change, human rights, also the small effects that we can do in Africa. It means everyone in his country, in his little community can make a change. I suggest probably to have the one movement like improving healthcare, improving insurance also for pandemics, for such things like that. Also improving ourselves to fight against these fights, because COVID-19 has damaged the structure, the economical structure. There is many poor peoples who are not finding the way to get work again. Many societies are closed, so we need to find solutions like improving healthcare and improving health insurance care. Also for the persons who had COVID-19, also for the society. And of course, we're going to talk a lot about climate change and his effects. So first of all, we need to care about our world, our Mother Earth, so that we cannot face other pandemics. So thank you. That's what I think about.
Thank you so much, Jawahir. So we will move now to Abdul Kadir. Abdul Kadir, if you can activate your microphone.
Everyone.
Hello, Abdul Kadir. Please go ahead.
Yeah. thank you for all the facilitator of this meeting. I am still a medical student in Burkina Faso, like my guy Abdul. Okay, we have done awareness outing to markets and public place, and what we have noticed is that the majority of the population does not believe that the virus exists in Burkina. They say that they have never seen their relatives suffering from the disease. I think we really need more awareness and sensitization. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Abdul Kader. Tata Evans, I will give you them. Could you please activate your microphone, Tata Evans?
Okay, thank you again. My question goes to Mr. Abderrahim. Yeah, I want to first of all thank you for the presentation, and I want to find out from him. Now we are looking talking about the COVID-19 and looking at measures that we can do to end it. You can also hear that from the West. There's a campaign about a vaccine, and as African youth, what is your say to us as concerns of vaccine? That's the question.
Can you repeat the question, Tata Evans? Because I'm not sure if he heard it. I'm not sure if Abderrahim.
Yeah, I heard it.
Yeah, you heard. Okay, good.
Yeah. No, thank you, Tata, for the question, and it's very important because yeah, I know there's a lot of fake news about news talking about the vaccines. Can we many think about this? I think we have a solution for a disease, for a crisis, and we have to take it. Forget about the fake news, about all what they are talking about the vaccine. If there is a vaccine, we have to vaccinate each one. Because if we are not vaccinated, all of us, this will not stop. The disease will stop. We have more than 60% of the population vaccinated. And Africa, more than Europe, needs to be vaccinated. Now they are talking that vaccine maybe will control our bodies. We don't know what's contained this vaccine. We know that when you are born, you have made a lot of vaccine. Have you questioned all the vaccine you have in your body? Because when you were born, you have done a vaccine for tuberculosis, vaccine for a lot of vaccines. And now that we have a solution, we are stopping and say, let's question what happens with this vaccine. We have to vaccinate, and we should do it. To stop the disease, we should do it. This vaccine, they demonstrated, Pfizer demonstrated it has a 90% of efficacy. So let's do it. And forget about fake news, because there's a lot of fake news outside. Thank you again.
Yeah, I have a follow-up question just to add to that. And okay, I just want to say concerns the aspect of the vaccine. We see that maybe there are people who have recovered in Africa from the COVID-19, except the statistics given are not true, because I believe in Africa, many people have recovered from the COVID-19 than how they have died. So why not just look into what did these people take to recover and work towards that, rather than taking a vaccine that we are not too sure, especially like you said, it's fake news coming as to what the vaccine is all about. So why not just look into what the other people took and got recovered, then advise people to take the same thing they took in order to be recovered from the COVID-19 virus?
Yeah. No, the answer is very simple, because we need an immediate answer. We don't have time to start investigation. People are dying for the disease, but also there are people dying for the economic causes of the COVID. So we need an immediate answer, and the immediate answer is the vaccine. There will be time to investigate and see other methods, other ways to prevent this and to cure this. But for this moment, we can't wait more. We have lost 1 year, and we can start now investigating for other things. We have to do what we have now, and what we have now is the vaccine. It can be from China, from Russia, from Europe. We have to do it. This is what we have. And I hope the lesson from this is that for the next disease or for the next health crisis, Africa should prepare itself to have its own vaccine, not to start waiting for others to give her the vaccine.
Yeah, thank you so much, Abderrahim. I think just to add to that, for your first question about the skepticism regarding the vaccine, um, uh, I think that even the medicine that we are taking to to cure our headache or something, they have also side effects, not only the vaccine. So once, and Mr. Abderrahim is totally right. Since we are young, we have put a lot of vaccine, but we didn't question these vaccines. Why we are questioning this vaccine now? You have said something really good, that many people are recovering from the COVID-19. That's true, but does that mean that they will be immune to the COVID-19 the whole time? Absolutely not, because even statistics show that people who had, COVID-19, who were ill because of COVID-19, they have developed like immunity toward this COVID-19. But this immunity can last only like less than 6 months, and then they can also be hit by the COVID-19 as well again for another time, and the second time it will be very even hard than the first time. There is a matter of reflection that we should think, and Mr. Abderrahim had said it totally agree and totally share his opinion, that there is no time to question. There is time to to act and react, and we cannot afford the consequences of COVID-19, the economical, social. We have heard one of the participants said that he has lost his job because of COVID-19. How many people in Africa has lost their job because of COVID-19? Especially that we already have a vulnerable economies, and with the pandemic, it's become even worse than vulnerable economy. So I think there is no time to waste, and as Mr. Abderrahim closed it, we need also to be absolutely prepared in terms of infrastructure, so we can also produce our own vaccine. Why not? We need to be also well prepared in terms of infrastructure when we have, because many people are also suffering because they don't have enough hospitals nearby. They don't have tools to communicate or to use online tools to pursue their education. So African countries nowadays, they need to be more aware than ever that it's through intra-Africa cooperation that, as I think that His Majesty the King Mohammed VI of Morocco has already said it, that Africa needs to trust Africa, and we need to trust each other. And the reason why I am so happy when I heard that there is something called the African Free Trade happening, it's amazing because we need to trade among ourselves. One of the participants said that Eswatini is importing fruits and vegetables and food supply from other non-African countries, which costs a lot. Why Eswatini is near to South Africa? Why not importing with South Africa, which will cost less? Why not have like a free trade movement in the whole countries, in the whole continent, that will also help our continent to rise up as well. Thank you so much, Mr. Abderrahim. Maybe we can take two. Yes, it's the two last. We have Abdul Maiga and we have Osam. So Abdul Maiga, please activate your microphone.
Okay, thank you very much. I'd just like to start with what you ended with, to highlight that in Africa, we don't believe in ourselves. But in the same time, we don't believe in the other research saying that if the vaccines are very good for us. Some already say that the vaccine that comes from Europe, they will, to make us sterilized, to don't we cannot have children. But if you don't want to make your own research, you don't believe in yourself, and others believe in themselves and they are making research to give you the final product, and you don't want to consume this final product, this is not really a good way. If we don't believe in the research, we don't believe in the vaccines. So we should take our courage to make research in Africa and to find our medicine, our vaccines. So we should believe in ourselves, and that is the problem in African countries and for Africans. We have during long periods a mindset of waiting for others and not taking our own initiatives to tackle our challenges. So that's what I would like to say to all young people that are taking part to this academy. We should believe in ourselves, and we should believe to our creativity to I'd like to give a message all young leaders that are taking part to this academy, that we are young leaders. We are Africa counts in in our energy, in our initiative. So we should really don't wait for others to find solution to our problem. We should initiate our own solutions, and we should have the courage to say it is enough. We should stop now others, and we should believe in ourselves, to take initiatives for our own problems. That's really the way that we lead us to the Agenda 2063. Thank you.
You are you were talking that we should work for having our own investigation centers and our own capacity to produce medicine, and I think you are right, Abdul. I am totally agree with you, and as said Hatim before, Mr. Hatim said that's a sentence from the King Mohammed VI, say that Africa needs to believe in Africa, and I think we have to be sure that this is the solution. We have to believe in ourselves to come out from this. I'm totally agree with you, Abdul. There was another question.
Yes, I do have a small question. I don't know if I have time.
Yeah, you can do it.
Okay. My question is that I would like to know, what do you think, Mr. the presenter? I don't really know your name. Excuse me for that. I would like to know, what do you think the Africa country means for creating their own vaccine? Because what we're saying that the foreign vaccine may not be the good one for the world, and it may be a fake one. It can kill African people. But what do you think Africa, the African country, means for creating their own? Except Madagascar, who have discovered a drinking one. I don't know. Except that we have not yet heard about a creation, of a vaccine for the African continent or for the world from Africa. So what do you think we miss?
No, I think we are starting, because I just heard yesterday in the news that there's a city in Morocco, in the north, near Tangier. It's called City Mohammed VI, and it's a technological city. And Morocco will start a project to start producing medicine, not only for Morocco, but also to export to African countries. And the King Mohammed VI made an objective to have, I think, in the few coming years, autosufficiency for medicines in Africa. I think we are in the road. So only don't stop working. That's and I also read in the chat that I think Osam Morris mentioned it. That the African Center of Diseases should start also working on this. And I am agree also with Osam that explained that, but I am totally agree with him. That the African Center of Diseases also should start working on this.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, this is me, Osam, again.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
I just read. Yeah, I just read your message and.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like yeah. Thank you. I was trying to say something because we have learned a lot of lessons in terms of scientific research. Like we have seen what happened with the World Health Organization in Israel from the beginning of the pandemic. So that is a big lesson that we African the Center for African Disease and Research Control should learn from the beginning. Like we have seen what the U.S. president did with the World Health Organization. He actually took a mission of maybe stepping backwards.
I think Osam, we cannot hear you because maybe you have an issue in your yeah. Mr. Abderrahim, I will leave you to have your closing remarks, and then we will wrap up and prepare for our fun 1 hour after that. Mr. Abderrahim, you have the floor.
Yeah, thank you so much, Hazim, again. I learned a lot with you this hour, and thank you so much for inviting me to share these moments with you. I think that the conclusion is that Africa needs Africa. Africa needs to believe in Africa. We have to work together. We have to collaborate. Some themes that are very important: sustainability, education is very, very, very important, and at last, I think that we have to think seriously about investigation, and Africa will have to start about this this path. I think we have to work on this about investigation. I wish you all good luck. I wish you have a good weekend. I hope to see you again. I left you my email in the chat. Thank you also. I followed all the conversation in the chat, as was very interesting. Thank you, Hatim and the Academy, for inviting me. I am always at your disposal, and you have also the Euro-Africa Foundation at your disposal for any question. Thank you so much.